We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. We're talking this morning, as you see, the security at the recruitment center is being provided right now by citizen guards, because the staff in these recruiting centers, and we learned this after the tragedy in Chattanooga, cannot arm themselves under federal law. And these two gentlemen are the Operation Warrior Guards, what they've dubbed their team. It's John Jensen and Tim Guy. They've been out there since last Monday doing this. Thanks, guys, for coming on and answering questions and the like. Let's go back to the phones, and we'll go to Cindy. Cindy, good morning.
Morning, Nick. How are you?
Good. Hi, Cindy.
Hi. I love these guys. Everything they're doing is totally awesome. You, John, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Tim.
I love it. I'm totally with it. I understand. I wish you guys would be at, like, Matco gas stations and things like that, because I'm scared to death. I've seen a lot of robberies that happen when you're pumping your gas when you're a woman, and they come up and steal your purse and take your car, or they'll run with your purse and your keys are in it. They know how to get in there and get it. So I love you guys. Everything that you're doing for this country is totally awesome. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry that other people might not feel that way. It is not, and it's a dang shame that our military, the guys who went to war, the guys who are trying to recruit them, and they can't defend themselves. When if you work at a gas station and stuff, you're allowed to have a firearm behind you if you have a permit. So, do you realize how scary it was? That's why I would not work in gas stations and grocery stores, because I've seen a lot of robberies, and there's absolutely no way I'm going to get hurt, and I'm scared to death. I don't even like to leave my house, after like 4 o'clock, because I'm scared somebody's going to just come up, especially in Murfreesboro at the mall. I'm afraid they're going to attack me in the parking lot and rob me and beat me up or shoot me.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, listen, I hear her fear, and you shouldn't be that scared, I don't think. But, you do wonder where you draw the line. I mean, we obviously saw what happened in South Carolina. The church shooting, just awful in Charleston. We've got the movie theater shooting, the most recent one, and sentencing for the one in Colorado today. You guys are providing security here, but I mean, the truth is, you're there, and I think a recruiting office can be a soft target, but all these places, I hope it doesn't come to the point in this country where we have armed guards everywhere. And do we have to have armed guards everywhere, do you think?
Well, here's the thing. This is something I see on Facebook coming up all the time. Where were these guys when the black church was shot up? You don't see them out at the churches. You don't see them out at the police stations when a cop is shot, Well, that's because they're capable of defending themselves. Police officers carry weapons. They're allowed to carry weapons within their stations. Yeah. Churches, you're allowed as a law-abiding citizen to carry into a church unless that church tells you otherwise. Now, if that's the case and you're worried about your safety that much, maybe you should be seeking another church body.
Same thing, I suppose, at a theater. I see your point, whereas you're talking about these soldiers are at a place where even if they wanted to, they can't because of the federal law that's in place. Right. That's it. Have you had much interaction? I know that there was a report filed with the Stars and Stripes, which is the military publication, talking about how a military brass in general said, look, when it comes to these citizen soldiers, we're encouraging not to have a lot of interaction with them. They didn't really come out and disparage you in any way, but they said, look, if you really are a concerned citizen, the best thing you can do is just be aware and report suspicious activity, but not have a lot of interaction. And you get the sense from reading it that they would just assume not have you there right now. And I don't know if you get that sense, but what kind of interaction have you had? I guess it's, off the record or unofficial, because they won't talk to the media, which I understand about this issue, from the folks out there at the recruiting stations.
Well, we're getting great response from them. They thank us for being there. They're glad we're there. We had one sergeant that told me that his wife was more at ease now after the shooting in Chattanooga, that now we're there, she doesn't have to worry about him so much, and it helped her at home.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind, and so that's good. And they've not come out and told us to leave or anything of that. They're glad we're there.
Have you had any incidents? We talked about how at one point someone may have called in some kind of bogus bomb threat, and I guess police, you said, responded with the dogs to check, and it was bogus. But aside from that, any problems, issues, customers or merchants on that stretch that maybe just were uncomfortable with it?
Something I want to touch on, just like we were talking during the break. We were supposed to have protests from the Muslim community, and it ended up not happening. It probably would have brought on a boiling point that was unnecessary. We're not out there for any type of, whatever you want to call it, protest, riot, whatever, you know, we're out there to prove a point that our military should be armed. Just because the guy who goes and shoots up Chattanooga was a Muslim doesn't mean anything to us. This could have been a white guy, black guy, Asian.
As we've seen in these other terrorist attacks, you know, white American men, you know, okay.
And where we're at, I'm in direct contact with the property owner. We fixed anything that we had going on that maybe didn't look quite right. He had me address each of his customers, each of his clients, let them know what we were doing and everything, and if they needed any problems, come see me. And we've had good response from them, no problems with them. We've cooperated with anything they've asked us to do, and so that whole area right there, they like us.
All right, what do you guys think at home? 737-7587. Let's go next to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Hey, I just wanted to call in and just tell Tim and Jonathan, of course, I see them out there as often as I can get there. But I just wanted to, you know, of course, I'm behind this 100%, and I'm part of it. But I just wanted to thank the citizens of Murfreesboro, just the outpouring of support that we have had for being out there. It looks like everybody's really behind us. We've not met with any negative comments. And I just wanted to come out and say thank you. I'm prior military myself. Spent my time at the Sheriff's Department as well. I do have my concealed carry permit, and we're allowed to be there. And I'm willing to stand. Of course, I have to work. I work a lot. But any minute that I've got that I can come out there and be there to help support, I'm there.
Awesome.
Listen, thank you for your call. Yeah, I know a lot. If you could, now both of you have jobs. You both have work. You work, and how are you able to do this? I know I've seen some older soldiers, retirees, that have the time on their hands. But talk about, you know, it's a kind of a schedule where you'll work certain time, and you have several people involved now, and you kind of rotate, right?
Yeah, and we have very flexible schedules, and we have people that come in the morning, and they'll work a few hours, and we have another crew that'll come in the afternoon.
You're there during the day hours of operation, right? Which is from what to what out there?
9 to 7, give or take.
Give or take, 9 to 7, and so. But yeah, how do you juggle? I know you kind of work on your own, and you've got your business. What do you do?
I work for a company in Murfreesboro. I'm not willing to put the name out there. That gives me an extremely flexible schedule. I only work weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday is the only day that I don't make it out there.
But otherwise, you go out in a couple hours, then you rotate in, or however long you stay. Right. At any given time, how many do we think out there? A minimum, maybe 3, 4.
That's on a bad day.
On a bad
day.
Right now, I'd say we're probably 7 to 8 at
now,
each shift.
The proof will be the pudding. I mean, if you both have told me that you plan on continuing this as long as it takes until Congress changes the law to allow it. Now, you realize, one, that may not happen. Two, if it does happen, it could be months, possibly years. I mean, you know how slow things go in Congress. But you guys are really, because, you know, next year at this time, if it hasn't passed, I'm going to just suspect that you guys aren't going to be out there anymore.
No, we're dedicated.
Okay.
We're dedicated. The only way we're going to leave is if the property owner calls me up and says, hey,
but you're going to find a way, because, you know, at some point, and there are those out there who say, well, you're doing this because you're on this program here. There have been news stories. The story went national. You've heard from a lot of people, and you've heard some very nice things, and it's nice for you guys. But when all of a sudden the media spotlight and the publicity dies down, and it's going to soon, like everything does. Yeah, there'll be the next flavor of the week, whatever the big story is. At that point, will you still stick with it when you're not getting the attention?
I'm going to touch this one.
Okay, go for it.
Kind of like he was saying with the recruiters, we had one personal one that said his family feels better about us being there. I personally was recruited out of the stations at Old Fort. We have several people that were recruited out of those stations, and some of those recruiters there were there when we enlisted 8, 9, 10 years ago. So some of these people are our friends. This isn't just strangers that we're standing out in front of. These are people that we have a lot of respect for their families. These are friends. These aren't just regulars.
And that's why you'll be there.
Right.
Gotcha. On that note, we got to take a quick break. If you're on hold, stay there. Marcus, Steve, Fran, and others. We'll get to your phone calls. The number 737-7587. Still a couple of phone lines open if you want to jump in. Ask them a question if you want to comment on what they're doing and what you think. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back with more right after this.